one. We're live. In fact, we are here. Welcome, one. Welcome, all. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. We are delighted to be able to spend time with you. Tell us who you are. Well, we can tell who you are. Tell us where you are in the world, and tell us one word to describe how you feel about where you are right now, today. So all of this week, we're doing something a little different. We're doing our live broadcast every single day. And we're here to inspire you with free broadcasts in the morning. But in the evenings, what we're doing is we are giving you the opportunity to hear from some of the people that we've had an incredible fortune to work with. We love to help people. And a lot of people are asking us, we're getting a lot of attention now because we're doing stuff in schools and we're just gaining a lot of attention. And just having a couple of little challenges here. Let me just do this for a second. What are you trying to do? It's all good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can. So anyway, so yeah, where you are in the world. And this is one of the things that happens when we do live. Sometimes things don't always work out the way that you want to. In fact, I worked in live TV, and I could tell you quite a few stories about some of the things which happened when you're doing live TV. But anyway, tell us where you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. I can see people are coming from all over the place. Get ready to be inspired. You might want to have a pen and paper to hand as you get to hear from some other people. So yes, all of this week, we are giving you information Monday to Friday about how you can have the best year yet. Now, we all know about New Year's resolutions, and we all know that New Year's resolutions often don't last very long because most of us go back to what we know. We are very much human beings of comfort. We're very much human beings. We do what we have practiced doing, rather than taking the time and the dedication to really go to work on cementing new habits. And that was one of the things that we actually spoke about this morning. I was talking to everyone about my habit busting formula. This was a best-selling book I wrote called Habit Busting, which came out many years ago. In fact, it was published in, I think, 7 or 8 languages. And look, it was actually published in Korean. So I don't know how your Korean is, and I'm still trying to learn Korean. It's very different. Look. But people all over the world want to break habits. So when it comes to us being successful in life, we have habits which can either move us in the direction that we want to go, or our habits can take us in a direction perhaps we don't want to go. So join us this week. Let us continue to share some inspiration with you. Now, we have a lot of My365 members in Scotland, and we are going to go up there this year and definitely see some of those people, because a lot of our members we've never even met, but I think I've met both people here who are here this evening, our guests. And I'm going to start off with they're both in the green room. I'm going to bring Susan in first of all. Susan, good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us your time this evening. Susan, just tell us a little bit about you, where you're from and what you do, and how did you find out about My365 in the first place?
Well, as you said, I'm from Scotland. I'm from the East Coast in Perth, which is about 58,000 people, so it's kind of a town, really. I am a mum of 4 boys, 17, 15, 12 and 7, so it's busy. I'm an occupational therapist, and I work with additional support needs children and families. I set up my own company, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, 4 years. I came across My365. A friend of mine on Facebook shared something she followed in the public group, because I was trying to rack my brains this morning how I actually came across it. I just thought, oh, that looks interesting. Listened to you for a few days, and then I joined Elite after about 2 weeks. So
wow. I've already, my head is filling up with so many questions I want to ask you. I suppose the first question is, how does a mother of 4 boys and a businesswoman find time to go to work on doing personal development? I mean, how do you create the time for that?
I've always found time. I've always got things on, and I was thinking about that today. And the only time I feel stressed is when other people say, "How do you manage to fit that in? I don't know how you manage to do it. You've got 4 children and da 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 da." And then I go, "Oh yeah, how do I fit it in?" And actually, I was fitting it in quite well. I'm pretty good at time management. I do manage my time. I'm really organised. I think that really helps. I'm a very focused person, so I do write a lot of lists, but I do actually finish the lists. So I know you're not so keen on lists, but I work through them and I like to score the things off. I know that.
There's nothing like this sense of achievement, and definitely keeping lists can be an incredible way of just getting yourself organized, especially when you've got 4 kids. But I want to ask you, and we'll go back as well, but so tell us a little bit about what you've achieved since you've been a part of the whole My365 Elite experience.
Yep. When I first came to My365, I was feeling really overwhelmed and anxious. I knew that I needed to take my business to another level. And I,
Yes.
you know, stepping up and going, doing difficult things, but the level of anxiety was becoming completely overwhelming and it was stopping me from doing anything next. I was just so worried about what people were thinking. And, I worked for the NHS for 22 years, so it was a huge step anyway to come out of that and set up my own business. And, up here in Scotland, private practice isn't really very common. So it's been quite a challenge. I'm always going against the flow. But
Yes.
My365, I really have gone to places that I probably wouldn't have stepped into before. And, at the end of this year, we won 2 business awards, which was the company
Wow.
work that
Wow.
which we've gone for the last 2 years and haven't managed. And part of the mindset was, oh, well, what's the point? We're never going to get that. And I was, no, I know that we can win those awards. And I was really focused. And the work that I did and the preparation that I did for it this year was 100% better than what I'd done last year.
Wow, I'm so inspired by what you're saying. I can't wait to bring our other guest in a minute as well, because I know that she's the sort of person also that relishes in the success of other people. I think envy is such a dangerous thing, but when you love what people do and you celebrate it, it's unbelievable. So, and if anyone's got any questions for either of our guests, please type the questions. Hannah's by my side here, and she'll write some questions down, and we can ask both of you, because I feel we can all learn a lot from both of you, actually. So is there anything really specifically that you've learned from My365 that really helped you develop your business and become the success that it is today?
I think what I was going to say about the My365 community is that people aren't envious, that they're actually encouraging. And
Yeah.
the culture I find is people are like, oh, "Why are you doing that? Why, are you sure you want to do that?" And I just felt I was always going against the flow. Whereas in My365, people are like, "Oh, that's amazing! Yeah, you should do that." And "Oh, that's brilliant!" Just all that support that you got, and really within Elite felt it was very, very genuine
Yeah.
and supported, and other people who understood you. They might not be in the same place in the journey, but that's okay. There's people that are further on, there are people that are further back, but you're just learning from these people all the time, and you're not jealous of where people are in front of you. You're just like, wow, I could be doing that, and I just find it a really safe place to be.
Yeah, well, as you probably know, one of my heroes is Andrew Carnegie, whose idea it was for the book Think and Grow Rich to be written. One of the most famous people, one of the most famous Scottish people ever. Mm-hmm. And he was a massive fan of people just coming together and working together and helping and supporting. It's hard to achieve most things of any significance on your own, but when you're being supported by other people, it's like, well, you just feel that. You feel that energy, you feel that support. So what about the masterclasses? Are there any of the masterclasses that have you found really useful in terms of your personal and professional development?
The first masterclass I did was just when I joined, and that was the mindfulness masterclass. It just happened I was in France at the time, so I was sitting doing my meditation, looking over this vineyard, And I love doing that. And I just finished doing a mindfulness diploma, online diploma. So I really, it's something that I was really needing at that time, because I am a master at ruminating over things. If something's
You
happened,
were.
so yes, I was. Not anymore, and I really have managed to use the flip the switch, and it's my most favourite visual. If I'm starting to ruminate over something, I can just see the switch and I just switch it, and it's the rumination is gone. And to me, that's the most powerful thing, that I am actually in the moment. I've changed my mindset in the moment, and then I can deal with what's going next.
Wow. So what would you say to people about personal development and why people should look at something like My 365 Elite for their own development?
I think because the materials are there, you can work through them, but you're also working through them with other people. So again, it's going back to that community, and
Yeah.
safe, and being able to talk it through with other people. But also sometimes if you're not quite getting the material and somebody else has explained or done their video, and you're like, ah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was trying to, but somebody else has put it in words for me. But I really feel that it's the community part of it, that the My
Yeah.
365 Elite. It has got a little bit bigger, but you still pick out the people that you want to follow,
Want to
and I
follow.
encourage
Yeah.
that. And there are people that you just feel more affiliated with, that are on your wavelength, and I just love it. But you can also learn from everybody that's in the group.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love the morning broadcasts. It's like your fix of caffeine in the morning.
Yeah, no, yes, I hear that. I think what you do in the day, in the first part of the day, really does set you up. That's why we all used to eat ready break, right? Because the way it was advertised to us. But I've watched you, and it's funny, we were talking about this yesterday. I've been following you, but because you've been very consistent in sharing this journey, I know I've got a lot from your journey, and I'm going to bring someone in now who also I believe has as well. I mean, we've got another person also waiting in the wings as well. So I'm going to bring in a fellow person from your great country. I'm going to bring in the amazing Michelle. There she is. We can play around, and we can make it just like the Brady Bunch. There you go. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm very well, Pete. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us. So just tell us, before I ask you a few questions, when you hear what Susan has gotten out of this experience and how much the community has meant for her, what does that do for you?
For me, the community is the absolute best thing about My 365. It is a community of like-minded individuals. So we have the daily broadcasts, which are fantastic. They book, they finish my miracle morning, if you like. Once I've heard the broadcast, then I know I'm creating the day that I want for the rest of the day. But very often we're encouraged to give a summary every week of what we've learned, what we've achieved, and what we're going to do with it. And although the daily broadcasts are fantastic, Pete, number one coach, very
Thank you.
often when you're listening to those summaries at the end of the week, there are so many light bulb moments, because so many people are on a similar but even different journey, different stages. There is no envy, there's no it's a safe community where people can grow at their own pace.
Pace.
you,
Yeah.
you take people with you, or they join you on the journey. It's just amazing.
Well, if anyone's got any questions for Susan or Michelle or my other guest who will be bringing in a little while, we'll come to those questions in a minute. Michelle, again, you're someone who has inspired me massively, just seeing you diving into your own personal development. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, and what you have gotten out of this experience yourself.
I'm from Glasgow in the west of Scotland. I've been living in London for about 12 years now, and I come from the corporate world. I've been in the corporate world for many, many years until a couple of years ago, and then joined my husband in a franchise business that we have, and another business that I run from home. But what I felt was that I'd seen some of your broadcasts. I think I started following you when you did Tales of a Life Coach on Periscope, which is a while
Yes.
ago. And then you did the My 365. Initially, I wasn't an elite member, and then I knew where I was, and I knew where I wanted to get to, and I knew I needed a coach to take me from A to B as fast as possible. And that's why I thought, I'm going to invest in myself and join Elite. And that's really why I made the decision. You know, I needed the discipline to help me set up my days. I just didn't have the discipline, and I joined initially for the coaching to help me with how to structure my day, etc. But I got much, much more from it because of the habits that I created. So, you asked Susan what was the most, her favorite mastermind class, and for me, it was habits. And that one line that you say that you are the habits that you, at the end of your life, you'll be the habits that you got rid of and the habits that you created, because excellence is not an act. And lots of light bulb moments for me there, creating the habits on a daily basis, so that it's difficult to begin with, but then when you get in the swing of it, it's actually just what you do. So when I joined My 365, I hadn't realized how important my health would become, because you said on that, if you don't know what the big thing is, focus on your health. So I started by not being able to run a bus, and then ended up running a 10K just before the summit last year. So just so many things that I've achieved. It's just amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. Susan, what do you have to say when you hear what Michelle has achieved? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was having a little look at Michelle's business before we came on. I think I'll maybe be phoning you and asking you for some help with
Please do. Happy to.
Everybody takes different things out of the different master classes, and as Michelle said, everybody's in a different part of their journey. So I think each time I know you're going over some of the master classes in more detail, and we might have done some of this stuff before, but every time you hear it, you hear something different, because you're in a different part of your journey. And that seems like Michelle and I are in different stages of our journey, but you can still use the same material, but get different things that you need at that specific time.
Yes, I mean, one of the things that we are very serious about, those of you who are elite members, that what we're looking to do is spend a month on some of the key areas that we believe everyone needs to look at, from personal leadership to willpower to mindfulness to breaking habits to confidence. So many different things, the fundamentals of achieving a great life. But we really are a story-based business. What we want to do is help people create the story that when they die, I know that sounds a bit morbid, the person that they meet is the person that they became, as opposed to meeting that person and it was the person that they could have become, rather than realizing, oh, this is the person that you worked hard at becoming. And I respect you so much, both of you, because you have really gone to work with the constraints that all of us have living in a modern world. But let me ask you both a question, and then I'm going to bring someone else in. So this is my question. Your story is evolving. Where is your story going? Where do you plan to be maybe in a year or 5 years' time? Who wants to go first?
Oh, gosh.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I've got quite a lot of plans for this year anyway. My big plan is to build my premises in the garden. So the architect has been and drawing up the plans for that. So that's really exciting. So that, you asked a question about how you cope with 4 children and business. So that'll be very helpful, that it's just at the bottom of the garden. So that's one part. But since I've started being coached by yourself, my business has really taken off, and I've got people coming from all over Scotland, but actually in the last couple of months from different parts of the world. And I've just been meeting with a Polish therapist who wants to translate one of my programs into Polish, but he's also a researcher. So he wants to research the program, which is a win-win situation. So he gets to use the program and I get my program researched. So that'll take internationally. So it's really exciting, and I'm just, really excited about it.
It's amazing because I can see Michelle is like this, and I'm like this, and Hannah's like this, and Carmen's like this, because we love to see people grow and evolve. And of course, when we grow and evolve, other people often don't like it because they know that they should be doing it as well. So it's amazing. And in my mind, I was just thinking, hey, how can we help you? Is there anything we can do to help you evolve this even more? Michelle, what about you? Sorry, say that again.
I'm going to work with Michelle.
Good.
I'd be delighted to work with you. Sounds like amazing work that you're doing.
I would.
I think for myself, the work continues on personal development because that journey never ends. You give yourself a target, you reach that target and you realize you've still got a long way to go. And just reflecting yesterday on Oprah's talk, very powerful talk, just blew me away, and talking about how powerful each of our voices are. It's about, if you're not putting yourself in a position where you feel uncomfortable on a daily basis, you are not growing. It's an uncomfortable feeling, but you've got to continually grow and put yourself in positions where you feel uncomfortable. So I sent it out to the universe to say, I've got to use my voice more to help other people. And, it's basically, when I said that, over the last, yesterday when I heard it, and then today, just opportunities coming, from all over the place to come and speak to people, speak with them, talk at events. So it's more of that, just getting in front of people and telling them my story, because one of the biggest things I learned with My 365 was how to be my authentic self, because I think I'd forgotten. I don't even know who that was. I'd been working for so long and just head down and getting on with it. The last year has given me the time to look at who I am and just be me. So yes, very exciting.
There's so many things. Thank you for sharing that and putting that out there, because most people don't think where they're going to go. They just want to get through the day, get through the week. But you know what? There is something which a lot of people don't talk about, which is this kind of infinite intelligence, this kind of putting ideas out there and telling a few people, and all of a sudden things start happening. Absolutely. Then you grow, you get stronger. Then something else comes along that tests you, but it tests you because maybe you need that test for you to grow and get stronger. So I'm deeply thankful to both of you. Were there any questions for either of them, Hannah, before I bring in our next guest?
Yes, the wonderful Alicia asked.
Alicia
asked, what is your non-negotiable?
What is both of you, your non-negotiable, like, the thing that you just don't negotiate because you have to do it every single day?
For me, it's sleep. I've got to get sleep. The minimum is 7 hours. If I don't get that, then my day is off to a bad start.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What about you, Susan?
Mine's sleep, but also getting up at the right time, because if we get up late, the whole family starts off in a bad mood, and the whole day, it just affects everything. So it needs to be that get up and get everything. The start of the day is the most important for me, and I'm really rubbish at getting up in the morning. Yeah. So that's something that I've had to work really hard at.
Truly exceptional people, this is a slightly different tangent, but a truly exceptional people are often people that don't feel comfortable standing in the limelight because they're just too busy getting on, doing what they need to do. And believe it or not, I'm like that. I'd much rather just get on doing what I'm doing. When someone says, oh, look, what you're doing is great. Yeah, it is great. It's fantastic. But we haven't even got started yet because we're going to change the world. And I believe that people like you, Susan, and like you, Michelle, you inspire people in ways that I probably never will. For whatever reason, we're all different people. But the more you go to work on yourself and the more you do yourself proud, the more you will just inspire people around you. So I am so thankful to both of you for giving me your time this evening. I'd go and follow both of those ladies in any way that you can because they're both inspirational. I'm going to say goodbye to both of you, and I'm going to bring in Another one. In fact, I'll leave Michelle in here for a second, and I will take Susan out, not literally, and I will bring in a lady who is someone who has inspired probably every single My365er, who was our member of the year last year and still continues to be until we announce the next one. It is the amazing, let's give her a big round of applause. It's Carmen.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Carmen.
Hey,
Carmen.
Michelle. Hey.
Hey, so Carmen, actually, Michelle, just tell us, Michelle, first of all, tell us what do you think about Carmen?
Carmen is an amazing woman, completely inspirational. I have had the pleasure to meet this woman on many occasions. Some of the events I've been with her where she's spoken up, and these are women's empowerment events. There are other events that Carmen and I attend at the same time, but in particular now I'm talking about the female empowerment events where Carmen stands up and just holds the room. You know, she tells her story, she's authentic, and she's just so engaging. She just holds you with her story and how she's come through the obstacles in her life. It's just inspirational. You know, you look to yourself and think, I have no excuse. This woman has achieved so much with so many obstacles. I have no excuse. So it's an absolute pleasure to know her.
Listen, Michelle, thank you so much. I'm going to put you in the green room. Thank you for your time. Let's have Carmen and I both to ourselves. Good evening, Carmen. Thank you so much for joining us. Carmen, tell us who you are, where you're from. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what My365 has done for you.
Okay, so where am I from? That's a good question. Originally born in Germany, raised in the United States, came over to Europe about 15 years ago. I am 55 years young, a mother of 6, a grandmother to 1. I work full-time for the financial regulator here in London. I am a business owner. I'm a badass Harley chick. That's where I get my thrills from, being out on the road. That's my freedom. If I want to be anywhere, it's out on the road, letting life happen. I have a huge story that I like to share with many people. My lessons that I like to teach are, we have gone through or go through many, many things, but we can get through them through mindset and through supporting one another. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
And thank you, so much for sharing your story. In fact, we did we've done a Member of the Year podcast with Carmen, and I would encourage everyone to listen to that because we all love stories. That's why we like films and soap operas and read things, is we just want stories, a part of our brain, and we identify with other people's stories. But when you listen to other people's stories, in my head, I'm always thinking, what can I learn from this person? What can I take from this person and apply to my own life? So Carmen, tell us a little bit about what you've achieved since you've been a My365 member.
Oh, wow, there's so much. Okay, so first of all, like many, lost a little weight. One of the key things is I used to be a worrier. I used to take a situation and just bend it around and twist it to no end, and I don't do that anymore. I have obstacles coming at me every day. Is it something I can deal with? Yes. If I can't, let it go. And that has been huge for me. What else?
Well, as you think of something, I'm just also going to say, I want to tell you something, and that everyone can listen to this. Carmen is someone who's gone very deep into her own personal development. And we have a big community and there's lots of other things going on. And I know that you pay attention to that every now and then, but really what you've done is just become the person that you want to follow. And that's part of my mission. It's to help people wake up in the morning and go, you know what? I want to follow that person who happens to be me, because you've invested in yourself. why do you think it's so important for you and for human beings to grow and develop themselves so they become proud of who they are? When they look at themselves in the mirror, they can say, you know what, I kind of like you. No, actually, I kind of love you. You're amazing.
Yeah. You know, you say it all the time. It's, you know, when you get to the end of the road, you want to be able to say, wow, I did all of that and I am absolutely flipping fantastic. I think unfortunately for myself, as I got older, I knew there was something more. There was something missing. I had to search out what's bringing me, like we touched upon with upgrading your life, is the time and getting to where you want to be. And I finally found my purpose after a year and a half of being with My365. And it's just the journey that you go on and bringing in the things that you need and trying it. And if it doesn't work, trying something else and being inspired by so many others. It's incredible.
Yeah. So what is your purpose, if you don't mind sharing that with us?
So my purpose, peace, love, and happiness through adversity.
Yeah. That's awesome. You know, and it's, do you think everyone has a purpose that's buried inside them somewhere that's just kind of yearning to come out?
Most definitely. It's trial and error. It's getting yourself out there and testing the waters. And I think what was key for me is when I started with My365 and you said, you know, we've got to have a purpose and your burning desire. I used to drive myself crazy. What is my purpose? I'm just not getting it. Why isn't it coming to me? And I just had to relax.
Yeah.
And just go with the flow and immerse myself in the work. And it was amazing. It finally just came. It was wonderful. We did it while you were teaching last year, the class, master class on, purpose.
Yeah. So, Carmen, tell us just why you think people should take a look at My365 Elite.
Yeah, there's a whole nother level there. We talk about all the time, observe the masses and do the opposite. I knew I was eccentric. I knew I was different. I knew I had so much left in the tank that I wanted to give, but I wasn't sure what it was and how to get there. And this is a really, just, even if you're working on little bitty things, building your confidence, looking to lose a little weight, whatever it is, doing Kaizen, the baby steps with My365, you're going to achieve so much, so much.
Thank you, Carmen, so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all of my guests here this evening. Carmen, enjoy the rest of you. Any questions, Hannah, come through? You're touched as well, aren't you, Hannah? So, Hannah, who just watches from the wings, she loves to see all of these stories. She just watches in the background. She supports me. But it's amazing what we've all done together, because this isn't about me. This is a group of people that are deciding that they want more, and we're all entitled to more. And we're all entitled to more abundance and more happiness and more success and more contribution. And I personally believe that My365 is the best opportunity in the world to get coaching from someone who looks a lot like me, world-class coaching, a community of unbelievable people who will lift you up when you're feeling down. Even if you don't want to be a part of a community, that doesn't matter, because we've also got a whole series of masterclasses that you can go through and graduate and learn what you really need to learn to survive in the modern world. So, Carmen, thank you so much. I'm going to put you also in the green room as well. Michelle and Susan, if you could come off, if you could actually just enter out, however you do that, because I want to bring a few things in. Thank you. So I just wanted, before we wrap this up, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me your questions. I'm just going to share a couple of things with everyone that's here, and also in here as well. Just bear with me for a second. So with My365, when you become an elite member, if you want to find out about it, just there's a link in the broadcast here. Go and click on it, enter your details, go and just do a little bit of investigating and find out exactly what it is that we have on offer here for you. But the slide I'm going to bring onto the screen now, I actually brought this up yesterday. And we are also, believe it or not, we are actually going to hear tomorrow, we are going to hear from some men, because it's not just women that are developing themselves. Women definitely seem to be more into developing themselves, and I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I would encourage everyone, if you have a soul, then let's go to work on creating that better version of you. But what you can see in the picture here on I think it's on your left, I'm not sure if it's on your left or it's on your right, you can see this is the areas that we work on. We have master classes on all of these areas. And I think what is so unique is, look, you could get a book on habit busting, even in Korean, and you could read it, and then you could just put it in your shelf, and you've read it, but you've not applied it. What we're doing is we're taking concepts, proven concepts in science, things that have been proved around positive psychology, psychotherapy, psychiatry, all of this stuff that has been proven to work, and giving you the opportunity to test it and apply and see what works and see what sticks. And finally, let me just show you inside the My365 Elite Members area, so you can actually see some of what you get. These are the master classes. These are available to you on your phone, and you can graduate. You can graduate in all of these areas. Imagine granulating. Imagine graduating in wellness. Imagine graduating in mindfulness, because when you go through these master classes, basically at the end, we're going to take you through an assessment that you can see, can you demonstrate, have you achieved proficiency in all of these areas? Because we know that once you've done that, you'll be equipped just much more equipped to deal with what life is going to throw at you. So we really appreciate it. Go and find out what literally for as little as £1 a day, what that investment could do in your own future. You know, your future is still to be written. Your future is untold, it's unwritten, and you have the power to change. So join me tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for my public broadcast. Tomorrow I'm going to show you how to take desperation, turn that around, flip it around, and turn it into the inspired life. And then join me tomorrow night at 7:30 for the same time, and we're going to hear from some more My365 Elite members. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to my guests, Michelle, Susan, and Carmen, our Member of the Year for 2017 and into 18. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Were there any questions? No questions? If you haven't shared this, feel free to share it. You never know who might see it and who might get inspired. Let's change the world one person at a time. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.